So we now know the 20 clubs that make up this coming season's Premier League, and I've already made my insane early door predictions. But what about the bookmakers? What do they think will happen this coming season? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we're going to take a look at the bookies. That's right, see what they think that's going to happen in the upcoming 2025-2026 Premier League campaign. That's right, we know the 20 clubs. I've already made my picks. Do they match what's going on with the old bookmakers? Well, we'll take a little look in just 1 second. If you do, where you been? Smash your subscribe. You want to subscribe for Premier League, Babylon Rovers, World Football. We're going to all hear under one Rooski. That's right, of course, the dust may have just settled on last season's Premier League, but of course already eyes are switching to next season's campaign with the new arrivals and of course the most recently departed. What's going to go on in the upcoming season? Well, we'll take a look in just 1 second. A big shout out to the members and the Patreons, you know who you are. So what we're going to do now, though, of course, is sit back, hold on tight, and run through the numbers of what the bookmakers think will happen in this coming season. Now, before we get going, folks, I want to let you know that I'm going to be using the Bet365 website for all the odds and the movements happening in the Premier League season for this coming campaign. So sit tight, hold on, and let me showcase you who's coming out in bottom place and going down. Well, no surprise, really. It is, of course, in 20th spot. It is newly promoted Sunderland, courtesy of the back door. That is, of course, the playoffs. The bookmakers do expect them to go straight back down. And of course, you can get odds of them at 2,000 to 1 to lift the title. That's right. That's, of course, not much of a surprise. All the newly promoted sides are expected to struggle, but I do see some movement already. I've already kept an eye on the markets since the middle of May when they were available. But, no surprise that Regular Breeze at Sunderland are going to struggle. They've got a young squad. Did they match what I've predicted? Well, that's, of course, something you got to check out in another video. So in the 20th spot, we have Sunderland. Let's move on forward then into the 19th position again. No major surprise in 19th. It is them six-finger banjo playing weirdos, that is Burnley, goodness gracious me. The bookmakers have them currently at 1,500 to 1. To lift the title. Now, of course, they're not going to lift the title. Neither are Sunderland. But it just goes to show an indication of where they are ranked in the bookmakers' expectations for this coming season. So another season of struggle for Burnley. Again, they came up this time around in the Championship with more of a, they were convincing, but they weren't necessarily flattering. And of course, Scott Parker has that record of getting promotion, but he also has that record of not succeeding in the Premier League as a manager. So I do anticipate that trend to continue with Burnley. And I think the bookmakers have pretty much got this on the money as well. Let's kick it off forward then into the last remaining relegation spot. And that is 18th place. And a bit of a surprise here because you would expect the other newly promoted side, but it isn't. It's in fact Wolverhampton Wanderers. They currently have odds of 1,000 to 1 to lift the trophy here. What I can tell you is that it does look like Wolves are getting stripped to the bare bones right here, right now, with Man United seem to gobbling up all their talent. Cunha's already gone. They look at the fullbacks now at Wolves. I do anticipate some movement in that regard. So what's going to happen to that money? Where will it go? Will it get reinvested? And if those investments are any decent or not, that's going to be something for time to tell. But ultimately, yeah, it does look like Wolves will have a struggle on their hands. Maybe, though, this might suit Pereira to build his own squad. But he hasn't got much time to do that. 1,001. Wolves are going down according to the bookmakers. So let's take a look at some of the first safety spot then. And that is, of course, 17th position. And that is Brentford. Now, they are also actually got, you can look at this a different way. I am going in an alphabetical order here. So W being the least. In fact, it might not necessarily be. It's the order that I see it in the odds. So they do have these guys in 70th spot, but they do have actually the same odds as Wolves. So a bit of a coin flip, you would imagine, between those two sides. And once again, kind of similar trend to that of Wolves. The likes of Brian Mbembo has been linked with the Manchester United move already. So that could be something to keep an eye on. And of course, something that will weaken Brentford and possibly strengthen Manchester United moving forward. So assets, keeping a hold of them. It's going to be a key factor for Tommy Franks Brentford, but he knows what he's doing in this league right here, right now. And also, that's another thing. Keeping hold of Thomas Frank is going to be a major struggle with the likes of Tottenham, possibly looking for a new manager. Who knows what else goes up further up the table. Maybe Forest also have a change of manager as well. So keeping hold of Frank could be the biggest challenge on Brentford's hands this season. But again, these are not my odds. This is not my take. This is the take of the bookmakers. So 17th spot, Brentford. Into 16th spot, it is newly promoted Leeds. Maybe they're getting it right this time. Of course, Daniel Farke in the helm, of course. There was some consideration that he might only be here for a short term, and maybe they'll move on to something a bit more Premier League proven. And that, of course, is going to be the test for Daniel Farke. Of course, he probably will get the summer, probably will get the chance to bring in his own players, but ultimately, can he survive until Christmas? If he can get past Christmas, then he's probably in good hands, and probably Leeds are in a bit of a position. They've got some good assets on the squad right now. They do need some strengthening, particularly the goalkeeper. I think that's a concerning factor. But Leeds, according to the bookmakers, should be safe. They've got odds of 750 to 1 to lift the title. Also, 750 to 1 is 15th place. Crystal Palace, FA Cup winners, that's right. Glasner ball is in full effect. They've got some cracking talent. I think this is quite a low bar by the bookmakers. I think they're going to be pushing for top 12, maybe even top 10, and even beyond that. They've got European football on the agenda, which is going to be exciting for the Crystal Palace fans in the Europa League, and maybe even a squeaky chance to squeak into the back door of the Champions League. I know that's daydreaming right now, but just the fact that they are in Europe, FA Cup winners, 751. I think this is a bargain. If you're a betting man, that might, again, not necessarily to win the title, but nowhere. They're not going to be 50. To 14th spot again with 750 to 1 odds. So again, look at it how you look at it. It is Fulham, of course. Another one with a good manager, Marco Silva. Verily, stock is high right now, keeping Fulham in the Premier League for a few seasons now, and not only sticking in the Premier League, but also performing at a high level. Season in, season out, they lose some assets. But no, I think they're a good, strong side right now, and I think their mid-table is probably their range at the moment. Can Marco Silva get them any further up the table? Potentially. But again, will Fulham be able to hold on to him? Again, one of the names that are coveted in the Premier League by the higher-ups there, the Spurs, the Manchester Uniteds, the maybe even, I don't even know if you want to call them higher-ups, but Nottingham Forest also could be looking for a new manager as well with the disgruntlement with Nuno and the owner over there. But 751 of Fulham, it's safe. It's a safe bet, but yeah, they're not really, the sky's not the limit for them. It is always sticking in the division, and they could easily get sucked into that with a bad run of form and also a change in the dugout. 750 to 1. That's the bookmakers' take on Fulham. Into 13th space, brother. It is West Ham United. They're coming at you with, of course, Potter ball. Graham Potter at the helm, from a former Chelsea coach there, of course. Realistically, this is his moment. He has to get, I think, West Ham in the top 10. And I think the bookies have them maybe a little bit subpar. The performances weren't great from West Ham, to be honest with you. Since Moyes has left, it's been a bit of a struggle, and of course, this will be the season of expectation for Graham Potter. I don't know. I've already made my call on it. I think they're going to be in and around about this. But the bookmakers have them 501 to go the title again. So in around mid-par there. Of course, Graham Potter's boys will have a decent season, but I think West Ham fans have got bigger expectations. To 12th spot we go now, and it is Everton. Now, of course, they are moving to a new fancy pants, squeaky new stadium. They currently got odds at 500 to 1, equal to that of West Ham, so maybe those positions could swap around a bit. Again, mid-table, David Moyes, I think, got a good ethic out of these guys toward the back end of the campaign. And they were proven to be quite hard to beat. I think if they can roll into that in the new season, maybe a few acquisitions as well, I think Everton could be a stubborn top 10 side here. Again, that's just my take. The bookmakers have them around mid-table, 500 to 1. It's give or take at the moment. And we'll see how that market develops over the summer. Into 11th spot we go, and that's Bournemouth, of course. And Andy Arioli, another coach there, hot property right now, and of course could see him try and swap the dugouts from this one to another one. Who knows? And again, I'm not necessarily saying swap the dugouts just in the Premier League. They could actually make a move to Spain or Italy and things like that. He's got himself a good reputation right now for working with minimal budget. Well, not saying minimal. They of course had a bit of money to spend, but you know what I mean, compared to the big boys, and finishing as high as they've done. So they've done great so far, and of course the bookmakers have them tipped to finish pretty decent as well this season. 11th spot ain't nothing to be sniffed at again for Bournemouth. So I think they'll take that all season long. 350 to 1. for them to lift the title. Into the top 10 we go now, and it is Brighton over Albion. That's right, Fabian Hurtzler's boys, of course, proved to be another tricky unit last time around. I currently have odds of 250 to 1 to go the distance. They're outside, of course, of the bookmakers, outside the top 8 here, but finishing in 10th spot. And again, just like Brentford, just like Bournemouth, they're just happy to be here at the moment. And of course, a lot of those neutrals out there, they kind of turn their noses up a little bit at Brentford and Bournemouth and Brighton, because they've come out of nowhere. They weren't there at the origin of the Premier League, but you know what? That's their take. My take is, it, of course, swings and roundabouts. The circle is a big old circle. Of course, what comes around goes around. Brighton had their moment in the sun many moons back. This is their moment in the sun right here, right now. So, of course, hopefully they can enjoy it. I think they got European football. Did they finish in there, or did Brentford get it? I can't remember. Regardless, top 10 finish. Fabian Hurtzler's boys. Again, another coach who's doing well with the resources put in front of him. Into the top 9 we go now, with, according to Bet365, it is Nottingham Forest. That's right, 150 to 1 to go the distance. I think Nottingham Forest fans have a bit of a, kind of a spoilt mentality at the moment. Just because they finished in the European spots last season, they expect to finish in the European spots this season, and maybe even more than that. I honestly don't think so. The cream does rise to the top in every circumstance around the world here. The quality will be there at the end. And unfortunately, not Forest, they have had a good season, a great season in their eyes. But all the ingredients have to work together. Again, this is not my take. My take is much worse than this. So check that video out as well. But Nuno Espirito Santo, of course, how far can he go? Of course, great season. The fans probably want him to stay, but will the coach, will the big boss man want him to stay? What about the players in there? Morgan Gibbs-White really stood out amongst a bunch of, decent crop of players. He actually was the main face there. And of course, he is very attractive right now to other clubs in the top of the Premier League. So keeping hold of those guys, the coach, of course, the key personnel, the goals, it's going to be massive. And I don't think Forest, should turn their noses up at 9th right here, right now. I think just them being in the league right now, be careful what you wish for, because the bigger fish you get, the more likely you can get bitten in the ass. Just look at Leicester. Become a yo-yo club. You don't want to do that. Into 8th spot we go now, and it is Tottenham Hotspur. That's right. Currently have odds at 50 to 1 to lift the title. Now, of course, this is right here, right now, and we're recording this on the 27th of May. Early bloody doors in the morning. Now, Ange Postecoglou is still the coach, according to my eyes. I haven't looked at the news yet, but I do believe he's still the coach. It is widely expected that he's not going to be the coach, so that could have some major ramifications right here, right now, with not only Spurs odds, and of course the odds of those managers that I've already highlighted, the ones at Brentford, the ones at Brighton, the ones at bloody, who else is, Fulham even. Fulham, they've all got decent, attractive managers in the league that could be of interest to Tottenham, should they go there. Now, I'm a big fan of Ange. I think he's a breath of fresh air. Of course, I'm not a Spurs fan, though. Of course, you might be miserable with that woeful season in the Premier League, but you'll be playing Champions League football next season anyway. That's what it's all about, getting into the cream of the crop, get the money in the board there. So, a big fan of Ange. Unfortunately, he will be missed if he does go. But right now, the bookies have them at 8th with 50 to 1. Into 7th spot we go now, and it is Manchester United. That's right. Of course, they're looking to spend some cash. Of what cash they have, they're probably going to make a lot of sales going on. Garnacho looks like he's on his way out. Rasmus Højlund could be on his way out. The guy, the fullback there, Shaw could be on his way out. Goalkeeper Onana could be on his way out. A lot of ins and outs. Got a rotation. So this will be a new build season. So I think the expectation of anything more than 7th will be a little bit rich from the Manchester United fans. 7th plus. Right now, you would take that, considering the past couple of seasons that you've had, and more specifically this current last season. They got odds at 40 to 1. So you can look at this a different way, because it is got the same odds as 6th place. But 7th place could get you back into European competition. They're 40 to 1 right here, right now. Interesting summer ahead for Manchester United fans to see what's going on with them. Into 6th spot we go now as Aston Villa. That's right. Of course, they controversially missed out on Champions League football by some dubious refereeing decisions this past weekend, and they'll have to settle for Europa League football. In this odds here by the bookmakers, they have them in 6th place, 40 to 1. Again, the same odds as 7th place Manchester United. It looks like Martinez is on his way out. The goalkeeper looks like Ollie Watkins could also be lured elsewhere. So keeping what talent they have, on the books is massive. Unai Emery, of course, fantastic coach as well. So I think they're in safe hands in that regard. It's just replacing those guys that are departing with younger, hungrier, more players with something to prove for Aston Villa. So again, another busy summer I expected for Aston Villa with the loss of some key players. But 6th place right now. Again, wasn't too long ago you were playing Championship football, so you would take this, I think, at the moment, considering the grand scheme of things. Into 5th place you go now. It is Chelsea. They're trying to climb back into that Power 4. Of course, they are in Champions League, courtesy of that the result against Forest this past weekend. They've got currently odds at 20-1. Of course, that's not too shabby. Of course, they've got their own European final, which, of course, is taking place tomorrow. When this video, of course, should go out today if I'm swift. So 5th place Chelsea again. A very young squad. Excuse me. Future is bright for this lot. Again, is Mark Keska the man? Of course, chance to get his first silverware on the board tomorrow. And of course, if they do that, the morale will be high heading into a summer, which of course does include Champions League football. So I think Chelsea are one to keep an eye on. Again, they are looking at some strikers. They are looking at reinforcements elsewhere. They have spent a lot of money. So I do anticipate some outgoings as well, some cool, attractive incomings. Again, keep an eye on this. This could actually go up to maybe 5th, to 4th, or even 3rd place with the bookmakers odds. But right here, right now, 5th is what they think for Chelsea. Into 4th place we go now. It's the Geordies. That's right, 12-1. Of course, they're in the Champions League this time around, which means it looks like Alexander Isak is going nowhere. Eddie Howe, of course, is back with a full season, hopefully under his belt, courtesy of, considering his woes this past season. Again, I think they're going to try and rinse and repeat this. If they're in the top 4, they're happy. That's what they're all about. The fan base wants it. They've got Sunderland back in the division, which of course adds extra spice as well. But keeping a hold of the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Alexander Isak as well is monumental, but also adding some key additions as well to not only provide or maintain that top 4 challenge, but also provide a bit of depth in that squad to go further in the Champions League. It'd be phenomenal to see Newcastle in the quarterfinals or even semi-finals of the Champions League. So 4th place, the Geordies. That's what the bookmakers think. Into 3rd place, it is Arsenal, that's right. Of course, currently have odds at 5-2 to lift the title, that's right. Mikel Arteta, again, looking to add that missing ingredient, which is a striker, while also keeping a hold of some of the key personnel that they have on the books as well. Some guys maybe underperformed last time around and maybe need to step up, but definitely get that striker in. And I definitely could see Arsenal making that push for that title. And of course, hopefully we can have not only a title race, but a multiple title race, with 1, 2, 3, 4 clubs. It would be great if we could have a race to the bitter end. But Arsenal currently with Mikel Arteta in 3rd with 5-2. In 2nd spot it is Pep Guardiola's Manchester City with odds at 9-4 to go the distance and lift the title. Wow. Can they do it? Well, they're looking to add some new players with the departing Kevin De Bruyne in there. Bernardo Silva could also be on his way out. Maybe refreshing the back line as well. Gundogan also heading on his way out there. So Jack Grealish also linked. So that's 4 key players, maybe more than that. Exciting again if you're a third party, see what kind of players Manchester City will bring. Will they bring in Adam Wharton? Will they bring in some other quality midfielder? Morgan Gibbs-White also linked as well. Maybe adding a bit more English depth to the platform would also be great for Manchester City. But 2nd spot, if it is them, which means they're in the title race, they've got a busy summer ahead as well with that Club World Cup, which of course we have non-stop content right here at Blackburn Rovers C, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. But Manchester City in 2nd, which of course is only one club left, and that is the current champions, Liverpool, with odds at 15-8 to go the distance once again. They're looking to bring in Florian Wirtz right here, right now. Of course, Arne Slot's just slotted in nicely. And of course, a title in his first season is fantastic. Of course, the likes of Gravenberch looking good, also playing for his man there. They've got a good solid foundation. Of course, Trent leaving, which of course has opened up the option for the likes of Conor Bradley, or looks like Frimpong's coming in to boost to that back line. So, they're making strides, and I don't think the likes of Florian Wirtz, Frimpong, are the only bit of business that they're going to be doing. So I think Liverpool will come out of this looking stronger, but will those guys come in, fit the slot, fit fit in nicely in Anfield, and of course make it back-to-back titles for Liverpool. That, of course, is something to be explored. But anyway, guys, that's it. That's what the bookmakers think. Again, I've done my own video. Make sure you check that out on the channel as my early predictions. And again, we go again. We'll check back on this probably periodically, every other month or every month or so, and see if what's happened with managerial merry-go-round, with, of course, with transfer developments and all that kind of stuff. But until then, subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. Until then, we're done.